It's a perfect day for football in Kansas City for the longtime rivals, the Raiders and the Chiefs.
Presenting Subway Fresh Buzz, CBS Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
It may climb as high as 50 degrees today here at Arrowhead. There is a breeze out of the north, and you see Art Shell, who will turn 60 years old next week, his second stint as the head coach of the Raiders, and Herm Edwards, a longtime assistant, head coach recently with the Jets, first year with Kansas City. Lawrence Tynes will kick off for the Kansas City Chiefs. He's got the 4 touchbacks and the 44 kicks. And deep back, they'll send Chris Carr, a second-year player who's got a great deal of speed. Rich, you played for both teams, the Chiefs and the Raiders. What's the feeling like before a game like this with such traditional rivals?
Well, there's so much energy and excitement in the building. I think the key for any visiting team to come in here is get off to a good start early and take the crowd out of it.
Here we go. Kansas City's kickoff from the 3. It is Carr with the lead block from Rashard Lee and a tackle made by Jimmy Wilkerson and by Sapp. It is out near the 30-yard line, a 27-yard return. This leads us to 8th-year quarterback Aaron Brooks of the Oakland Raiders, a 4th-round pick by Green Bay, his best years in New Orleans, first year in Oakland.
Well, I think the key for Aaron Brooks today is not to try and do too much early. I mean, it's been a better part of 10 weeks since he's seen any real live action. I think it's important for you to get your feet underneath you, make some good decisions and throws, and then away you go.
They line up with 2 tight ends, one of which is in the backfield. That is Anderson. First down and 10. Lamont Jordan wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage. Jared Allen, a loss of a yard, back to the 28-yard line. It'll be second down and 11. Hulsey will start for Barry Sims at the left guard. They welcome back Robert Gallery at the left tackle. And you can see the wide receivers, running backs, tight end is Roland Williams, Randall Williams. Second down and 11. There was some thought that maybe Greg Wesley would be starting today for Kansas City in the secondary. They do start Page. It is second down, 11 to go. Madsen is another tight end, the 3rd tight end for the Raiders. Brooks, and caught by Courtney Anderson. He was grabbed by Law. The gain to the 35, a pickup of 6 on the play. Now Kansas City's defense, which is number 14 coming in. Ali, that defensive end and a rookie, has been terrific this season. Kieran Fox continues to take the place of the injured Derek Johnson. And in the secondary, they start the rookie Page. Pro Bowlers Law, Knight inserts hand. 3rd down and 5. Kansas City stays with their base defense.
Well, this is that 11-up look that we talked about, Kevin, and there's some confusion. We talked whether or not they're going to be able to sort through it. You can see right there, Aaron Brooks just wasn't quite sure of it.
13:25 in the first drive of the game. Raiders take a timeout. The Raiders faced with 3rd and 5 just called a timeout. The Chiefs have tweaked their defense. They have brought in Lenny Walls, a 5th defensive end. Ronald Curry is a 3rd receiver. The Raiders need the 40 on the game-opening drive. Rashard Lee is in the backfield. And Brooks. And they blow it dead. Flag is down.
False start. Number 42. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Now 3rd and 5 goes to 3rd and 10.
One of the reasons you had a false start there by Rashard Lee is he's protection conscious. He's trying to get up inside and he's trying to anticipate the snap count. Very difficult to hear there, but he knew he had a dogger or a blitzer up inside that center guard box, and he wanted to get up inside and take that hit off of his quarterback, Aaron Brooks.
And obviously the Raiders working with a silent count today with all this noise.
Yeah, it's impossible to hear, Kevin. They're going to do a good job communicating. You can look at their left tackle out there, Robert Gallery. His head's turned. He's trying to look. He's trying to watch the ball at the same time, block the end man on the line of scrimmage.
They need the 40. Brooks hit. He escapes. He's on the fly, and then he is belted shy of the first down by Kieran Fox. At the 36, a scramble of 7, and on their first possession, the Raiders got a punt.
Yeah, I never like to start games that way as a quarterback. You know, it's an unsettling feeling when the protection around you is not great. You have to move around. You get flushed out of the pocket, and then you watch the end of this. You watch the end of this hit here. He's looking downfield. He's trying to make a first down. He never even feels Kieran Fox. Almost takes his head off. Reed is the one who broke the integrity of the pocket. Forced Brooks on the fly. Now they got a punt. Leckler is back, one of the best in the business. And Dante Hall is back for Kansas City. And he drops the ball at the 13-yard line and dances around and finally brought down by reserve linebacker Robert Thomas. A hang time of about 5 seconds on a 50-yard punt. We'll see Trent Green and the Chiefs when we come back in 12:33 in the first. The Raiders on their first possession just punted to Kansas City. They take over at the 24, first down in 10. Chris Wilson, who is a fullback, is wide atop your screen. Green to Larry Johnson. Brought down by Tyler Brayton. The gain is to about the 27 on a gain of 4. And here's a look at Trent Green, the oldest starting AFC quarterback at 36 years of age. Well, Kevin, I think there's more butterflies on the sidelines and in the stands than in Trent Green's stomach. I really think he's ready for this opportunity. He's had a great week of preparation, and I expect he'll play well today. Gets to the 28. No changes made either way during that break. Jason Dunn, a tight end, becomes the wide man on the bottom part of your screen. 2nd and 6. Larry Johnson. Jordan Black with the lead block, and a tackle is made by Asamoah at about the 32 on a gain of 4. Let's take a look at the Kansas City offensive line. Bober continues to take the place of the injured Brian Waters, and Kevin Sampson is out, and Turley gets another start at the right tackle. No Tony Gonzalez today, out with the shoulder injury. First missed game since '99. 7 years. They bring in Jason Dunn, who's a great blocking tight end and can catch the ball. And that's got to be unsettling to Trent Green, a guy that he's got a great comfort level with, and a guy he's thrown a lot of balls to over the years. Dante Hall is in. It is 3rd down and 2. Larry Johnson tripped up by Lance Johnstone and looks to have acquired the first down with a gain of 3 as he crawls out near the 35-yard line. Now the Raiders on defense. Sapp is having a terrific season, and Burgess is one of the top 5 sackers in the NFL. Linebackers are young. Howard is a rookie. His dad played for the Chiefs in the late 70s and early 80s. And he is good looking at that outside position. The secondary is young and very solid. They've had a terrific year so far. 1st and 10, 35. Gardner is another receiver. Outside for Hall. He dances with Morrison, slips by him. Brought down by Schweigert about the 37 on a gain of 3. Well, Kevin, this Chiefs offense really struggled last week versus Miami. Their first 5 possessions, they had some 3-and-outs, and where they really had a hard time was on first down. They had 12 first downs where they had a yard or less, and you talked to Herman Edwards this week. He said, well, we got to be good on first down today, and so they're going to try and change it up a little bit. You see a quick throw there to Dante Hall, trying to get him going and trying to move those sticks a little bit. Hall's now out. They bring back in Kennison. 2nd down and 7:38. And Larry Johnson again. And brought down by the middle linebacker Morrison. Grinding gain of 5 out to the 43. And some of your game points this afternoon for the Raiders and Chiefs. Well, the Raiders, their best player, Randy Moss, has virtually been non-existent in this offense. Look at the last 3 games and what he's done. Just 1 catch last week. They have to find a way to get him involved. And, of course, Kansas City, do what you do best. Run Larry Johnson over and over again. This will take some of the pressure, in my opinion, off of Trent Green today. Dante Hall is in. He's in the backfield and becomes the 3rd wide receiver. Chris Carr is the 5th Oakland defensive back on 3rd and 2. Johnson. Big hole by midfield. Brought down by Morrison. And he grinds his way for 9 and a first down to the Raiders. Green, this is the best thing that could possibly happen to you. Get Larry Johnson going, get him comfortable, and get him some carries. And I think that takes a lot of the pressure off of Trent and allows him to settle in a little bit. Allows him to get the feel for the speed of the game and allows him to get his comfort level back. And then off of that, of course, comes their play-action game where a lot of their big plays come in this offense. Michael Bennett has come in for Larry Johnson. 7th play of the Chiefs' first drive today. 1st and 10, this is Bennett.
And he busts free. What a great block by Bober. And he's inside the 30. He's down to the 27. Run out of bounds by Schweigert. A sprint of 20 yards and a Kansas City first down.
We talked about how this Oakland defense has gotten better, but one area where they really struggle right now is in the run defense. You just look at that block out front by Bober, the guard, the pull. All these guards can run. The Chiefs. Will Shields is an athletic guy, and now you watch Bennett finish that run at the end, but this is what they do best, run the ball, Kansas City.
Larry Johnson is back in, 1st and 10, Raider 27. LJ, big hole, into the secondary, and brought down by Fabian Washington near the 10. A 17-yard run on the heels of a 20-yard run by Bennett before. It's first down. They're at the 10, so 1st and goal.
We get so much movement up front. You just watch some of these blocks, and what's happening is Larry Johnson, before he knows it, he's into the secondary. He's going right through that front 7 as if they're not even there. So you know that group up front, Will Shields and Wigman and Bober, those guys, they're doing a good job moving the pile.
Chris Terry is the new right tackle. 1st and goal. Johnson, the NFL's 3rd leading rusher. He was grabbed by Huff, who is a rookie out of Texas. It's a gain of 3, and he's down to the 7-yard line.
Well, you look at the Raiders defensively, in my opinion, there's a little too much of an imbalance right now. They're 25th versus the run. They're giving up 128 yards a game, and yet they're 3rd versus the pass. They're only giving up 164 yards. So they have to shore up that area of their defense, and it really starts, in my opinion, up front with those guys inside. Warren Sapp and Tommy Kelly, they have to show up today.
Chris Terry remains the right tackle, 2nd and goal at the 7. Larry Johnson. He was grabbed by Burgess. He was so quick on that defensive end. He got down to about the 4 on a gain of 3.
Well, this is where it gets some tough sledding inside the 5-yard line now, and you have to be creative, and you have to be in your play selection here. Now you'll see Kyle Turley come back in, and what they're going to do in a lot of these situations, we put Kyle Turley, he'll actually become the extra tight end in this front. And now they can do 2 things out of this. Obviously, they can run or throw it out of this, but you got to look with these heavy sets with Dunn and Turley over there. You got to anticipate probably running downhill with Larry Johnson.
3rd and goal at the 5-yard line. There's a block by Dunn. Larry Johnson, touchdown, a 5-yard touchdown run.
You know, Kevin, 3rd and 5 at the 5-yard line. You're not anticipating run. But when I saw Kyle Turley come in the game and I saw him and Jason Dunn on that right side, that was a big indicator for me that they were probably going to run that direction. But 3rd and 5 just goes to show you the confidence that they have in that running game.
Larry Johnson runs it in for the 11th time this season. He converted all 3rd downs on that drive. And here is the extra point try by Lawrence Tynes. Big runs on that drive. Michael Bennett off the bench ran it for 20. A 17-yard run by Larry Johnson and a 5-yard touchdown Gallup. 7-0 Kansas City. 6:19 first.
Kansas City, here I come.
Larry Johnson already has a full day's work. He carried on that last drive 9 plays and 53 yards. Got the 5-yard touchdown run. Kansas City's first possession produces a TD and a long drive, which began back at their 24. Raiders have had it once. They punted after 3 plays, and they'll get it for a 2nd time. Now this is short, coming up for Carr on the 12-yard line, and he is out to about the 37 and brought down by Montez Murphy just off the practice squad. 25-yard return. Another look at Brooks. 6:14 in the first.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the all-new 2007 Wrangler Unlimited, a new species from Jeep, and by Dockers San Francisco. Work, weekend, dress, golf.
The Chiefs just got a rushing touchdown from Larry Johnson. 2nd possession for the Oakland Raiders. 36-yard line. They'll start 1st down and 10. Chiefs starters defensively are out there. Raiders starters are out there offensively. That is caught by Lamont Jordan, who digs his way into the grasp of Kendrell Bell, then is knocked out of bounds by Kieran Fox near the 40-yard line It is a catch and run of 3 yards. Make it 4 on the play. Pro Bowl balloting is in full swing on NFL.com. It's all in your hands, so vote for your favorite players today only on NFL.com. With Rich Gannon, Kevin Harlan, Arrowhead in Kansas City. No changes between plays. 2nd down and 6 from the 40. Lamont Jordan, a block by Zach Crockett, and a block by Gallery, and he crawls past midfield. Brought down by a host of Chiefs, including Reed. A gain of 11 on the play. Mark him at the Kansas City 49.
Well, this is what Lamont Jordan can give you. He loves the bounce play. He starts up and inside, and then he gets out on the edge. And he can be a physical runner, too, much like Larry Johnson's a big guy, runs over his pads. And they need a big effort from him today. Just averaging 3.7 yards a rush. Those are not the kind of numbers you expect from Lamont Jordan, a 1,000-yard rusher a year ago.
Sammy Knight made the tackle. 49, 1st and 10. Jordan again. Kieran Fox grabbed him first. The gain is to the 47, and it's a gain of 3.
You know, the interesting thing, Kevin, we talked to some of the Chiefs players. They said they'd rather see the young Andrew Walter than have Aaron Brooks come back. And obviously the veteran guy, he's won games in this league. And the thing that you're seeing a little bit now, you've watched him, he's avoided some sacks. He moves around pretty good in the pocket. He's got a strong arm. And I always feel like experience at that position is critical in the National Football League.
Raiders have given up the most sacks of any team in the NFL. It's 2nd down and a long 7 from the 47. Jordan, Gallery, and Crockett with the block, and there goes Jordan, who gets a 1st down, bulldozing his way to the Kansas City 35, hit by Kavika Mitchell, and Jordan is down. It's a gain of 12. Jordan is down.
Well, you know, he hasn't been completely healthy this year, and he's had some nagging injuries. You just watch him into this run, but I think really that's one of the reasons why he hasn't been as consistent. And you know, he had the shoulder early and had some leg problems, and just watch him into this run. It's hard to see where he actually gets hurt there.
We have an injury timeout. The first quarter, two teammates to hoist him off the field. They're looking at him. When we find out something, you'll find out his condition. They brought in Justin Fargas to take his place. They do running back by committee anyway, so this is nothing new for the Raiders.
And Justin Fargas has had a lot of carries this year, as has Zach Crockett, so they'll use all those guys back there.
It is 1st and 10 after the Jordan run of 12. The fake to Fargas, who offers a block with Gallery. Look at the time for Brooks. He's going deep and looking for Roland Williams, and it's incomplete. Randall Williams was in the sights, and the coverage by Law and by Sammy Knight.
Now, this is a couple times today we've already seen Aaron Brooks drop back, set his feet, and his receivers are still running downfield. And when I've watched film, Kevin, I've seen the same thing. It seems to me there's a lot of times where the timing and the footwork and the rhythm of the passing game just doesn't seem to add up for the Raiders.
Looked like they were going to go with the 5th defensive back, but the Chiefs will stay in their base defense. So it's 2nd down and 10. Fargas remains in the backfield for the Raiders. And this is Fargas, who played at Michigan and at USC. He's cracked on the play by Kavika Mitchell. Also hit by Sammy Knight. Gain of 4. Mark him at the 31.
And the one thing I know about Justin Fargas, having played with him, he's got a hard head. Watch him just, he doesn't even care. I mean, that's just like running through a brick wall. He just slam it up in there, bang it up in there, and get off, go over to the sidelines, get a drink of water, and come back in and do it again. I mean, it's a violent game, folks.
Edwards comes out. Jimmy Wilkerson comes in on the Chiefs' defensive line. Walls is a 5th defensive back. They've added Ronald Curry as an extra receiver.
Now you see the 11 up looks. This is the look that they have to sort through today and have an answer for.
It's 3rd down and 6. Brooks and Randall Williams has it. And he was hit initially by Law. He was whacked on the play as well by Kieran Fox. A gain of 7 on 3rd and 6 to the 24, a Raider 1st down. Williams had 5 catches a week ago against the Denver Broncos.
Now this is a look that's very confusing. You look at everyone across the back. Now, but what happens is right as at the line of scrimmage, they're all going to start peeling out right before the snap. And if you're Aaron Brooks, those two looks look exactly the same. You have to be able to sort through them and have answers not only for the blitz, but for the zone coverage drop as well.
This is the 8th play of the drive. They're going to take Lamont Jordan to the locker room. The drive began back on the 36. Nothing to Moss yet. Two tight ends, including Anderson, who offers a block for Fargas, who is belted by Tamba Hali. And a loss of a yard near the 25-yard line.
Well, balance is going to be so important today for the Raiders. A balance of run and pass, because if they become one-dimensional, they open up a can of worms. Just watch the block there, and you watch Hali. He's been a great player so far for the Chiefs this year. He's a guy who plays with a lot of energy, a lot of effort. He's just having fun out there, and he's making a lot of plays.
Sims is on the defensive line for the Chiefs. He's just come in the game. Wilkerson remains as a tackle. So Reed and Edwards are out. Second down 11. Brooks, and that is caught by Courtney Anderson, the one-time starting tight end. He's brought down by Law, 18-yard line, gain of 7. To New York and JB.
Hey, Kevin, after spotting the Bengals a 7-0 lead, take a look at how New Orleans answers back. On the flea flicker, Breeze up top to Joe Horn. Kevin, 3 defenders around him. He still hauls it in. 72 yards to pay dirt. Joe Horn and the Saints knotted up at 7 apiece. Back to Kevin Harlan and Rich Gannon.
And JB, remember this, Horn, the 4-time Pro Bowler, has been out the last 2 weeks with a groin injury. Has he come back in big fashion for the New Orleans Saints, who lead the division, the South, over Atlanta by a game. Thank you for the update. It's 3rd and 4, and a second timeout has been burned by the Raiders. But marching downfield on a promising drive, 36 seconds were signaling for a timeout. They saw Kansas City's timeout first. The Chiefs are assessed. Each team has 2. Lenny Walls has been put in as a 5th defensive back for Kansas City because Ronald Curry is a 3rd wide receiver for the Raiders. It's 3rd down and 4 on a good-looking Raider drive, which began back at their 36. Randall Williams at the block. Here comes Kavika Mitchell. Flag is down at the 21.
See, a lot of times what happens, Kevin, the official will blow the whistle. It's so loud in the stadium that the defensive players can't even hear the whistle, and they still go after the quarterback and try and bring him to the ground.
So wipe out that last play.
False start, number 66, offense. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
So now 3rd and 9. Langston Walker picks it up, the starting right tackle.
You know, there's not been as much blitz out of the Kansas City Chiefs defense the last couple of weeks, but then there's always that Gunther Cunningham factor, and I think that's out the window today. The Oakland Raiders are in town. In my opinion, Gunther Cunningham is going to try and heat up Aaron Brooks in this Raiders offense.
Reed is back in as a defensive tackle for Kansas City. Still 5 in the secondary. Still 3 receivers for the Raiders. 3rd and 9. They need the 15. Here comes Mitchell again. Oh, look at the elusive Aaron Brooks. And throws. Moss with the catch. A flag is down. The crab was out of bounds. He caught it but out of play, but he was shoved, and it's a foul on Moss, who is working on Walls on the wing.
Pass interference, number 18, offense. That penalty is declined. It's 4th down.
And this is the one thing that he gives you, Aaron Brooks, the ability to get out on the edge, and we can't really see Randy Moss extend his hands and push off on Walls there, but obviously he did that, and then the ball comes out anyway. But that's the thing that Aaron Brooks can do. He moves around well, he throws the ball well on the move, and that's something that's another dimension that Andrew Walter did not give this offense.
You know, it's interesting, that penalty would have moved the ball to the 33. Nonetheless, they'll try for 3, a 41-yard Sebastian Janikowski field goal try, and the Raiders are on the board with 22 seconds to play in the first quarter. Janikowski nailed one from 55 yards last week. As you see Moss talking with Fred Biletnikoff, the wide receiver coach of the Oakland Raiders. 7-3, Chiefs on top. Well, here's Kansas City's very interesting last year or so. The injury to Holmes. Eric Johnson was a beast the last 9 weeks of the year. Off-season, the 11-time Pro Bowler Rolf retires. Week 1, the injury to Trent Green. Heward comes in and goes 5-3 with 11 touchdowns and 1 interception. But the last 4 weeks, as Tony Gonzalez and his game flourished, Larry Johnson's game flourished. They kind of went hand in hand. Gonzalez not playing today.
Yeah, when I see that little clip there, the first thing and the first person I think of is their offensive coordinator, Mike Solari, a first-time coordinator. And, you know, there's some difficult things they've had to overcome. There's always adversity in this business, but that was a lot of adversity. I mean, you lose Willie Roaf, and you lose both tackles from a year ago. You lose Tony Richardson, you know, your Pro Bowl fullback. And then what happens in week 1? Your starting quarterback goes down, and so they've had to make a lot of adjustments along the way. And again today, they're going to be without Tony Gonzalez, their leading receiver.
It was an 11-play drive, about 6 minutes on the clock, and Janikowski just nailed a 41-yard field goal, his subsequent kickoff. And Dante Hall on a bounce about a yard deep in the end zone for the Chiefs. And brought down by Robert Thomas at about the 21-20-yard line, and a 19-yard return.
Well, you watch Tony Gonzalez. He had a great game last week versus the Dolphins. Made a lot of big plays. And then this one right here, he comes down. You can see him grab that shoulder. And if you're Trent Green, that's not good, because they've really hooked up over the years. And you look at his production in this system, and it's been amazing. You know, he's second in the National Football League in career receptions, second in yards, and off to having another Pro Bowl year this year. And so they're surely going to miss him today.
They got Hall as a receiver atop your screen. Turley is back at the right tackle. 1st and 10. The fake end around. It goes to Larry Johnson. Grabbed by Brayton and by Thomas Howard. It's a gain of 6 on the play. And he's out near the 24-yard line. That will take us to the conclusion of the first quarter. Larry Johnson, a 5-yard touchdown run. Janikowski, a 41-yard field goal at the end of one quarter, with former Chiefs and Raiders quarterback Rich Gannon, Kevin Harlan. Larry Johnson's touchdown run the difference. One injury for the Raiders. We just got word Lamont Jordan probably out for the game with the left knee injury. 2nd down and 5. They brought in Terry. Turley was a tackle eligible, and they hand off to LJ. Runs over on the side. Howard among many that bring him down, along with Brayton, on a gain of 4 to the 27-yard line.
Well, you look at the play selection, 11 runs and 1 pass in the first 12 plays. And they're going to be decisive, and they're going to run the ball right. That's the game plan. And you see Michael Bennett and then, of course, Larry Johnson. They're going to use both of these backs, trying to keep Larry Johnson healthy for the 4th quarter.
No changes defensively. The starters out there for the Oakland Raiders on the start of this series. 3rd down and 2. Hall is in, and Hall is another wide receiver. Green through the hands and dropped of Chris Wilson, covered by Michael Huff, and the Raiders have got, or the Chiefs have got a punt. Let's go to New York with JB.
Hey, Kevin and Rich.
Today, thank you, JB. Here's Kansas City's first punt this afternoon. Dustin Colquitt sends it away. Fair caught. 33-yard line by Chris Carr. 40-yard punt. Clock at 14:08. We're in the 2nd quarter. See the Raiders on offense again. 7-3. Aaron Brooks has gone 4 of 5 so far. He has found his receivers from the tight end position today to his liking. 1st and 10. Fargas in there as a running back. Brooks airing it out, looking for the track start. Alvis with it, almost picked off by Page. And covered by Surtain inside the 20-yard line, incomplete.
Jared Page, he's got pretty good range back there for the 7th round pick out of UCLA. And just watch Aaron Brooks. Never really looks him off. He's dialed in all the way to Alvis Wooded. Puts one up, actually underthrows a little bit, and gives Jared Page a chance to make a play on that ball.
They've just taken out Moss. They've just brought in Jerry Porter of the Raiders with Ronald Curry. 2nd and 10. Randall Williams remains the tight end. Justin Fargas. Big hole. Tackled by Page. Close to a 1st down. He is near the 41 on a gain of 9.
You talk about this Raiders offense, the problems they've had this year, and you just look at their rank and some of these important categories, and it's bad. And, you know, you always say there's excuses. You have a new system and a new coordinator, a lot of personnel changes along the offensive line, and lose your starting quarterback. But the bottom line is they're not getting it done, and I don't know how you fix it.
Moss is back in. Curry is a 3rd receiver. The Chiefs only have 4 defensive backs. 3rd and a long one. Crockett in the backfield. Zach Crockett. He pile drives his way for a 1st down up to the 45-yard line, and tripped up on the play by Kieran Fox. It's a gain of 3 and a first down for the Raiders.
Well, that's what Zach Crockett does as well as any back in the National Football League. He's kind of a tweener. He's a fullback that can also line up as the halfback, and he can get you those tough yards up inside.
First and 10. Fargas back into the backfield. Starters out there for Kansas City's defense. Justin Fargas blocked by Randall Williams. He was tripped up on the play by Edwards and doused by Ali. It's a gain of 5, and he is near midfield. Coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report, join JB, Dan, Shannon, and Boomer for all the latest NFL scores and highlights on the Sprint Halftime Report coming up next.
I like the fact that the Raiders are running the ball. They're mixing it in, and I think that's important because if they become one-dimensional, I think they really expose themselves in too many areas. I think certainly protection being one of them.
Along with Randall Williams as a tight end, they brought in John Madsen. Top of your screen, in tight, 2nd and 5. Brooks on the run, being chased by Reed, being hit by Kendrell Bell and driven out of bounds at the Kansas City 47 on a scramble of 3 yards.
Well, Aaron Brooks is moving around well, and you know he's been practicing the better part of a month, and Art Shell told us last night he's gotten better each week, and this is the first week he really threw without any discomfort. And you got to realize coming into this game, Kevin, he's only thrown the ball 14 times all season, hasn't played since week 2, so this is really like another season opener for Aaron Brooks.
They take out Kendrell Bell to the Chiefs on defense. They bring in a 5th defensive back, Walls. The 3rd receiver has been added for the Raiders, Curry. 3rd and 2, 47. Lee in the backfield. Here comes Surtain. There goes Brooks. Here comes Allen, and there's the pass, and it's caught by Curry. Down the sideline, he beat Ty Law. He's to the 33, picks up 14 on 3rd and 2, and a first down for the Oakland Raiders.
You know, this is almost a broken play. Actually bring Ronald Curry in short motion, and you just watch him. He's going to come from the left part of the screen. He's almost stopping. He thinks, and now he said he realizes that Aaron Brooks is still moving with the ball, and so he keeps running, and he actually loses Ty Law. Ty Law was confused as well there.
Chiefs will stay in a 5 defensive back alignment. Williams, Madsen, the 2 tight ends. Fargas back in, 1st and 10. Now Madsen, the tight end, comes wide to the bottom of your screen. Brooks, caught, hitted, and he was belted at the 18-yard line by Kavika Mitchell on a 16-yard pickup, and another Oakland first down.
Well, this offense looks a lot more efficient with Aaron Brooks under center. You know, we talked about how important experience is. This guy has been in a lot of big games over the years, and he's thrown for 4,000 yards a couple times in his career, and so he knows how to read coverages. He knows how to get back there. The importance of setting your feet and being decisive. And right now, he looks pretty sharp for the Raiders.
Wilkerson and Sims are the Chiefs' defensive tackles, taking the place of Reed and Edwards. 1st and 10, 18. Zach Crockett, quick hitter, and grabbed by Eric Hicks from behind on a gain of 5 as he plows his way to the 12.
Well, Kevin, this is one area of the field where the Raiders have really struggled this year. They've been poor in the red zone, and their touchdown percentage in the red zone is 29%. And they're 31st in the National Football League. They've only scored 5 touchdowns and 17 trips down here. This is where you got this. When you get these opportunities in this part of the field on the road against a good defense like the Chiefs, you have to find a way to capitalize.
2nd down and 5 from the 12. Great play by Jimmy Wilkerson, climbing on the back of Justin Fargas, and a loss of 4 back to the 17-yard line.
Now, this is just a good play by Jimmy Wilkerson. He's just going to foul. You watch him inside. He's going to foul the pulling guard. He's just going to come down the line, just beats Kevin Booth right upfield and makes that tackle in the backfield. And they do a good job. The Chiefs are going to rotate a lot of different defenders in there across that front line. They bring Wilkerson in, they bring in Sims, Eric Hicks. They want to keep those guys fresh.
And they just made a switch. Ali, Reed, and Edwards are back on the Chiefs' defensive line. Walls is the 5th defensive back. Curry is the 3rd wide receiver on 3rd and 9 from the 17. Rashard Lee in the backfield with Brooks. Lee gets the dump off. There goes a flag by Kieran Fox. Pushed out of bounds by Knight at about the 6 as it stands now. An 11-yard catch and run, but let's see what the flag is all about. It's on the Raiders.
Holding, number 76, offense, 10-yard penalty. It's still third down.
The struggling Robert Gallery. He was the number 2 overall pick out of Iowa 3 years ago.
Well, he's had a tough time, and I think part of it, Kevin, is he played much of his career at right tackle. You just watch him on the left side of your screen, and Jared Allen's working on him, and what happens is he just tackles him. You know, he gets beat across his face, and then what those guys usually do is they panic. And what they do is they grab Jersey, and you can see Robert Gallery there not wanting to give up a sack in the red zone. Still 5 Kansas City defensive backs. Starters out there on the defensive line. 3rd and 19. They need the 9. Curry still the 3rd receiver. Brooks wants a timeout, and boy, is he ticked off. Oakland burns their 2nd timeout. 8:32 to play. We're in the 2nd quarter. The Raiders are on the move, but Raiders just burned their 2nd timeout. They have it 3rd and 19. A drive which began back at their 34, trailing 7-3. No changes either way on the offense or defense during that break. It's Justin Fargas with a sizable hole, belted by Mitchell, then finished off on the play by Reed. It's a gain of 9. He's to the 17-yard line, and the Chiefs defense holds, and they force the Raiders to try for 3.
And I like that call in that situation. You have a 3rd and 19, and you got to be smart in this part of the field. You're not going to convert a 3rd and 19, and so what you do, you run a draw, you pick up some yards, and make a little easier kick for Sebastian Janikowski.
This will be a 36-yard try. He's been good from 41. In pregame warmups, he was knocking him in from 53 yards away, and this with ease, stroking it from 36. Big pass completions to Curry and to Whitted. Clock at 7:53 in the 2nd. Bad completions of 14 yards to Curry and 16 yards to Whitted. A 2nd consecutive score, a 2nd consecutive field goal from Janikowski. This one from 36, but the Raiders have had it twice in the red zone. They've had to settle for 2 field goals and the ensuing kickoff. 4 yards deep. It's Dante Hall. And then he is stuck in a scrum at about the 20-yard line on a 24-yard return. Trent Green is back. He's out for a 3rd time with his offense and 7:47 to play in the 2nd quarter. Johnson with a 5-yard touchdown run. 41 and 36-yard field goals from Sebastian Janikowski. Chiefs begin it now for a 3rd time with Trent Green right there at the 20, 1st and 10. He's got Bennett in the backfield, who now becomes wide, and they empty the backfield. Sands taking the place of Sapp for this defensive series on the Raider defensive line. Green outside, caught by Bennett. One-on-one with Asamoah, driven out of bounds at about the 29-yard line. Rich on a gain of 8 yards.
I thought it was interesting when we talked to Trent this week. So he was running the scout team the last couple of weeks in practice. He thought it was important for him to get comfortable back in the pocket once again, to be able to slide around, work on his footwork, and really go through his progressions with some bodies around him, some hands in his face, and just getting comfortable being back in that pocket around some live rush.
2nd down and 2. There are 2 tight ends. Wilson playing the tight here. He's been playing some fullback, and Dunn taking the place of Gonzalez, who's injured, not playing today. Larry Johnson back in and stuffed. Huff got him. Thomas Howard and Tommy Kelly. The trio belt Larry Johnson for no gain on the play.
And the other thing that was interesting when we visited with Trent is, you know, how difficult it was for him to continue to prepare while Damon was getting most of the reps. He said he had to grab a lot of young receivers after practice. It's the only reps he could get. He didn't want to ask some of the older guys because he didn't want to take away from their preparation. He wanted to wear them out during their work week. And so he said, I had to grab the young receivers off to the side after practice, throw to them so that I could get my rhythm, my timing back in the passing game.
Bennett back in the backfield. Johnstone on the Raider defensive line. Chris Carr is the 5th defensive back. Hall was the 3rd Kansas City receiver who Green is looking for right now, and he is hit by Kelly. No flag on the play. Incomplete pass. A very unimpressive 3 and out for the Chiefs offense.
Well, you know what? It all starts on 1st down, but you just watch Trent here at the end and dropping back, trying to find an open receiver, and now he's just looking for the outlet. He holds it as long as he can. But that's going to be important today, just being smart, not taking hits. And Trent really knows that he can ill afford to take a shot to the head, so he's going to be smart today and try not to hold it too long.
2nd consecutive 3 and out for Kansas City. Colquitt to punt. Carr deep back, 35-yard line. And grabbed on the play by Rich Scanlon. Flag is down across the way. A 6-yard return. A 35-yard punt with a hang time of 4 seconds.
During the kick, holding number 27, receiving team. 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. First down, Oakland.
That is Fabian Washington, guilty, who is a starting cornerback. The Home Depot SEC on CBS heats up the holiday when the Bayou Gannon, Kevin Harlan. Back to the 24-yard line for the Raider offense. And they'll have it 1st and 10. Quick canvas of the Kansas City defense. The starters all out there. Lamont Jordan again, who started in the running back position, out with the bad left knee. Fargas taking his place, 1st and 10. Hit by Kavika Mitchell. Also hit by Page on a gain of 3. Fargas out to the 27-yard line.
And I think one of the things when you talk about the problems the Raiders have had with the protections, and now Aaron Brooks, he gives you another dimension, the ability to move around, and I think that's so important for this offensive line right now. It's really struggled. You know, Andrew Walters purely a drop back guy, and now with Aaron Brooks back, it gives you another dimension, and it really helps those guys up front be able to move the pocket and be able to change the location point for the quarterback.
The tight end Randall Williams wide to the bottom of your screen on this 2nd down and 7. Good time for Brooks. Rifles a pass, and it's caught by Alvis Whitted, who is belted by Page. He's out to the 48, picks up 21 on a laser shot by Brooks, and a 1st down for the Oakland Raiders.
Well, one of the concerns the Chiefs had about this Raider receiving corps is the speed that they have. And Alvis Whitted is a former track guy. He can run, he can get vertical on you pretty quickly. And so what happens is you play for the deep ball, and you want to make sure you keep everything in front of it, and that opens up those underneath hooks for the Raiders.
48, 1st and 10. Crockett is in as a lead blocker for Justin Fargas. And he is hit and brought down by a host of players, including Jared Allen and Kearon Fox. A gain of 4. He's to the 47-yard line.
Well, Randy Moss has been quiet again today, and just the 1 catch last week. And you really got to ask yourself, where is this guy in this offense? And you know, some of the comments that he's made, but we talked to Aaron Brooks. He said, I'm not really sure where he's at mentally, but you'd think that with Aaron Brooks back in the lineup, Randy Moss would be excited and get going, and those two would hook up again like it did early in the preseason.
Moss, no catches today. 2nd down and 6.
Change in place at the line of scrimmage.
Fargas hit by Knight, tripped up on the play by Reed. Gain of 3 to the 45.
And one of the other things I'm seeing from Aaron Brooks is I'm seeing more audibles and some more changes at the line of scrimmage, and it's not a big part of what they do. It's not a big part of their system, but you didn't see that quite as much with Andrew Walter, and now you see the experience starting to come into play with Aaron Brooks.
Linebacker Kendrell Bell has been taken out of the game. Lenny Walls has been put in. Walls is the 5th defensive back. He's put in because Ronald Curry has come in as a 3rd Oakland receiver. It is 3rd down and 3 from the 45.
Now, this is not good.
Rashard Lee, there's a block by Curry. Another 1st down. Kavika Mitchell brings him down. Along with Kearon Fox, it's a gain of 4 on 3rd and 3. Another Raider 1st down. This drive started at the Oakland 24.
And one of the things I'm seeing from Aaron Brooks is when they're changing plays and they're all on the line of scrimmage, they're not using hand signals. And you're seeing that the Raider receivers are really struggling to hear what's going on, and so they're having to move and cut their splits in and lean in to try and hear what's happening. They're not going to be able to do that continuously throughout this game. They're going to have to find a way to communicate better and more efficiently with the use of some hand signals.
Edwards is out. Wilkerson is in. Holly is out. Hicks is in. 1st down and 10. Lee remains in the backfield. Here comes Wilkerson. Look at the dancing Brooks. And he throws, and it's caught by Randall Williams, the wide-open tight end at the 21, and hit by Page. It's a gain of 21. Another Raider 1st down. They'll spot him at the 20 of the Chiefs, and here come the boos raining down from the upper decks.
Well, what happens is you're a secondary player for the Chiefs. You think that maybe Aaron Brooks is sacked. Now all of a sudden he squeezes out. You take your eye off your coverage responsibility, and you can just see how Randall Williams popped open in the clear.
No changes for the Chiefs on defense. Madsen comes in to join Randall Williams as the 2 Raider tight ends. Oakland has not allowed a sack today. From the 20. Fargas back in. Justin Fargas sidestepping one. Moves inside the 14 where he is hit and brought down by Kavika Mitchell on a gain of 6. The 2-minute warning. The Raiders are on the move and trail by 1 in Kansas City. The Kansas City 14. This is their 3rd venture into red zone territory, settling for 2 field goals on the previous 2 times here. 2nd down and 4. Courtney Anderson, one of 3 Raider tight ends, Zach Crockett. And he was grabbed on the play at about the 10-yard line by the Chiefs' Tamba Hali, the rookie, close to a 1st down, almost a gain of 4. It's the Sprint halftime coming up from New York. JB and the crew. Sprint halftime with scores and highlights next from New York.
Well, you can really get a good sense based on the personnel that's in the game for the Raiders what their intentions are. When you see Zach Crockett back there, he's usually not in there as a receiver or even as a blocker in the passing. He was in there to run the football.
Chiefs have 4 in the secondary. The Raiders have 3 wide receivers. Here comes Crockett on 3rd down and 1, a gain of 5, and he carves his way to the 6. It is a 1st down on the run by Zach Crockett and brought down by Kavika Mitchell.
Well, you got to give some credit to that offensive line of the Raiders, doing a pretty good job. You know, they've changed what they've done in the past in terms of the run game. A year ago, they were a big zone run scheme, and they've gone more to a man blocking scheme. We talked with Jake Grove the other night. He said it's taken a while for all of us to get comfortable with that. That combined with the fact they have a lot of new coaches in that league. New offensive line coach Jackie Slater, along with Irv Eatman, as well as Art Shell, who pops in and out once in a while.
It is 1st and goal at the 6. The tight end Anderson with Randall Williams and Madsen. 3 tight ends. Pitch out to Fargas. That's the corner. Bangs his way down to the 2. And he was whipped on the play by Law and hit by Sammy Knight on a hard-earned gain of 4 yards.
Now, this is the thing that I like about Justin Fargas. And I think when you watch film, when you're a chief defender, especially if you're a cornerback, you know that he's going to bring it. He's not going to ease up on any of his runs.
A Raider timeout and 24 seconds to play in the half. 24 seconds to play in the half, but they have no timeouts remaining.
And here's your choices with 24 seconds left. You either throw it here, or if you elect to run it, you have to call 2 plays in the huddle so that you can get the 2nd one off.
Raiders took over at their 24 with 6:24 to play in the half. 11th play of the drive coming up. Lee and Crockett in the backfield. 2nd and goal. And Brooks to the end zone. Open Courtney Anderson, and it's a touchdown. And he beat Kavika Mitchell. And the Raiders have their first lead today on a 2-yard touchdown pass by Aaron Brooks.
Well, they've been running the ball so well. I mean, you talk about tendencies, and you see Zach Crockett in the backfield and just paying attention to situations, and not so sure that they ever felt Courtney Anderson sneak out in that corner route. Just a good throw by Aaron Brooks.
So here is the extra point by Sebastian Janikowski. The Raiders have scored on 3 consecutive possessions. Field goals of 41 and 36, and a 2-yard touchdown pass moments ago to tight end Courtney Anderson from Aaron Brooks. Starting quarterback coming back from injury for the Raiders today.
And you look at Courtney Anderson, they took him out of the starting lineup a couple weeks ago, and Randall Williams is now their starter. So he's pretty excited about that opportunity.
Janikowski's kickoff. Dante Hall from the 4 for Kansas City. There's a block by Chris Wilson. Look at Dante Hall flying near midfield and brought down by the reserve tight end John Madsen. A 47-yard return, 11 seconds to play before halftime.
Well, the thing you know about Dante Hall, he's going to bring them all out of the end zone. And, you know, they've struggled a little bit this year in the return game. In fact, he's put a couple balls on the ground, and I sense there's been some frustration on his part. But the thing about him is he's always looking for the big one. He's always looking for the big play to bust out there. And he's done a lot of times in the past, especially here at home at Arrowhead.
There will be 5 Raider defensive backs, including Chris Carr. Dante Hall is out there as a receiver. They've also brought in rookie Jeff Webb out of San Diego State atop your screen. From the 50, Trent Green. Here comes Lance Johnstone, who brings down Green at about the 46 on a loss of 4. And that is a sack by the Raiders, the first one today. And that takes us to halftime. What about Oakland in their first half? A touchdown pass by Brooks. A touchdown run by Larry Johnson. This is going to surprise some people around the country at the half. The Raiders. Long drives by the Oakland Raiders today in so many ways. We'll take a look at the highlights. You can see right here it began for Kansas City with Larry Johnson on a 5-yard touchdown run. And then Aaron Brooks went to the air and hit his tight end, Courtney Anderson. And 2 Janikowski field goals from 41 and from 36 and through 30 minutes of football. Here are some of the numbers.
Well, the passing yards, and that's the problem as I see it from the first half for the Chiefs. Trent Green's not had a lot of opportunities, just 4 throws and the 8 yards. And then you look at the time of possession, just 9 minutes. They need more opportunities. They're going to have to find a way to get Trent going. They can't run the ball all day with Larry Johnson.
How about the absence of Tony Gonzalez and where that stands in the landscape of their first half?
And that is a huge loss, because what it does is it allows the Raiders to free up now, not worry so much about Jason Dunn, and then double those guys on the outside.
Last time we saw Hall return a kickoff for 47 yards. 3 yards deep. We begin the second half with Dante Hall. This time he is closed in on by Rashard Lee, Ronald Curry, Michael Huff, and Ricky Brown. They quadruple team a 27-yard return. He's out to about the 23-yard line. So here's Trent Green. What about the speed of the game? Something that I think for anybody, regardless of how grizzled you are, kind of hits you the first time you're out there.
It really does, and it's not something you can assimilate in practice. There's no way you can create that type of environment in the practice field, and so Trent's learning firsthand just how different it is, not from taking it from the practice field, the game-like speed.
They're at the 24. It's a 1st and 10. They've got 2 tight ends, including Wilson and Dunn, and this is an LJ handoff, and Larry Johnson wrapped up by Sam Williams. It's a gain of 1 to the 25.
I really think you're going to have to open it up a little bit, Kevin. They're going to have to kind of spread their wings and let Trent Green be Trent Green. And I think part of that is the play-action game, and that's what he does so well. He's able to get back there in the pocket, spin his head around, and find some of those receivers down the field. And I really think you have to do that. You can't play safe. You can't play guarded, because that affects everybody in the huddle.
Starters on both sides of the line out there to begin the second half. 2nd down and 9. Good block by Jordan Black. Time for Green. Caught by Sammy Poker. Grabbed by the safety, Stuart Schweigert. It's an 18-yard gain. He's to the 42-yard line, first down.
And this is what he does as well as any quarterback in the National Football League. The play action, and it comes off of a successful run game. If you watch him spin around, and you think about it, 256 of his completions in the National Football League have gone for 20 yards or more. And I believe a lot of that comes off the play action where he's most comfortable.
Dante Hall is in the game, a 3rd receiver. Raiders only have 4 defensive ends. 1st and 10. Larry Johnson again. Grabbed by Fabian Washington near midfield. Walked down at the 50. It is a gain of about 7.5 yards.
You know, when we talked with Larry the other day, he said he felt like sometimes he's a little hesitant. He needed to be more decisive in terms of the running game and putting his foot in the ground and knocking the pile backwards. He says, I have the ability to do that, and when I get myself in trouble is when I'm kind of sitting back, I'm kind of hesitant, trying to find that open hole. It's not always going to be there. Sometimes I have to create one for myself.
As a rushing touchdown today, that means 8 consecutive games. He has scored a touchdown, 2nd down and 2. 49, handoff to Hall, lead block by Bober. Closing the gap over there was Brayton along with Asamoah. On the Asamoah, loss of 1 on the play, back to midfield.
And one of the things, you know, talk about Al Saunders leaving as the offensive coordinator, Mike Solari coming in. You don't see as many special plays with Dante Hall. Years ago, there were so many special plays with him when I talk about the quick screens and the reverses and the double passes, all the things that they did with him. He's not as much involved in the offensive game plan anymore. I don't know if it has to do with the fact that he's had some injuries or he's not been as productive in terms of his involvement in this offense.
Johnstone on the defensive line. Carr is the 5th receiver, or rather the 5th defensive back. Someone moved. Here comes Larry Johnson. There were 3 receivers out there, including Dante Hall. It's a gain of 4 as it stands now. But those flags were shooting out of there pretty quick after the snap to Green from Wigman.
Offside, number 56. defense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
That's Derek Burgess.
Just listen to Trent Green now under center. And the ability to use the cadence and change up your cadence is so important. The offensive linemen love you for it because it really takes the edge off of that front four of the Raiders. It makes them really sit in and not guess, not try and jump snap counts and really watch the football. That helps the offensive line.
45, 1st and 10. Here comes the blitz by Asamoah. It's a loose ball, and Jordan Black is falling on it for the Chiefs at the 48. Asamoah throws Green for a loss of about 7 yards to the 48-yard line. Second sack by the Raiders today.
Just keep an eye at the top. And what happens is Trent never sees him. And when you're on the left hash as a quarterback, you know the short side of your field, that's a problem, especially with a 2-deep coverage. That's a real indicator. Trent never sees him. And you got to think the Oakland Raiders defensively, they're going to try and heat up Trent Green. They want to find out where he is, how comfortable is he in the pocket, and where his reactions are. And he hasn't played in a while. You want to see how quick he is, and shows a little bit of rustiness on his part, not seeing that corner blitz.
2nd and 17, 6 in the secondary. Larry Johnson ramming his way into Huff. He's down to the 48. Also hit by Sapp on a gain of 4. They need the 35-yard line.
Well, you can tell that the Chiefs right now are struggling a little bit with the rhythm. And you just don't see, they don't feel as comfortable with their play selection. And they're getting behind a little bit in the down and distance. And got to find a way to settle in, get Trent comfortable.
Now 5 in the secondary, 3rd and 13. Green throws, dropped by Parker, covered by Carr, 40-yard line. Incomplete. The Chiefs have got a punt.
Well, that was really good coverage there by Chris Carr, who you really think of as a return guy, but boy, he just sat on that Sammy Parker route. He wasn't fooled at all. Trent Green really had no place to go with that throw.
So the Chiefs will punt for a 3rd time in 5 possessions. Dustin Colquitt, one of the top 5 punters in the NFL in terms of gross and net. Chris Carr is back for the Raiders at the 10-yard line. Carr will let it bounce, and it will die at the 1. Saved by Pollard, and down there by Scanlon. It was a rookie who came flying downfield. A 46-yard punt. Bernard Pollard saves it. 10:33 in the 3rd.
Hi, Andy.
First down. Hey, Andy. Jalapeno or brat? Andy, jalapeno or brat?
Are you working or what?
Yeah. Make your NFL fantasy come true and take 10 friends to the Super Bowl.
Hi, Andy.
Enter at southwest.com/Super Bowl.
Something new to crave. Presenting the all-new CR-V from Honda.
Aaron Brooks has had a nice first half. They begin with their first second-half possession at the 2. 1st and 10. Kansas City with 4 linebackers, 4 defensive linemen. Zach Crockett trying to get anything he can, nudging his way by the 5. Brought down by Sammy Knight. Gain of 3.
You know, it was interesting to see that whole substitution, the dynamics of it during the commercial break. And what happened was the Raiders had made their change, and they brought in Zach Crockett and an extra tight end. And what happened was the Chiefs did the same thing. They took out Ty Law and brought in an extra linebacker, anticipating the run.
Now Long is back in. The extra linebacker Scanlon is out. 2nd down and 7. Fargas right into the grasp of Fox and Kavika Mitchell. Gain of 2 to the 7.
Kevin. I always think the first drive of the second half for both sides of the football is so important, especially for the Raiders. This is a football team that has really struggled all year in the second half of football games. They've been outscored 93-28. They have not played well, and they've really not given their football team any chances in the second half in terms of big plays, explosive plays down the field.
Officially at the 8th, 3rd down and 5. Walls is the extra 5th defensive back for the Chiefs. Curry is the extra wide receiver. Here comes the blitz. The pass is incomplete. They sent him from the corner. Knight was coming from the wing. A flag is down at the 7-yard line.
That's going to be on the Chiefs.
Also, Reed was in there blowing it up.
Offside, number 23, defense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Surtain.
And he was coming off the slot. He got a little antsy, and when you're blitzing, you see him, you watch him at the top of your screen, he just can't help himself. He wants to get home, and then you watch Sammy Knight, he comes in, and Aaron Brooks doesn't sense that. From a quarterback's perspective, you're backed up in that situation. There's a high tendency for blitz. You have to know where your quick answer throw is, and that ball's got to come out.
Now 4 in the secondary for the Chiefs. 1st and 10, 13-yard line for the Oakland Raiders. Randall Williams and Madsen are the tight ends with Courtney Anderson. Handoff Fargas. And swallowed up by Kendrell Bell after a gain of 1 to the 14.
You know, the ironic thing, Kevin, is we talk about the penalties, and you think about a team that's been penalized over the history of the game, and the Raiders usually jump out at you. They're one of the most penalized teams, and it's just been the opposite today. The Chiefs have really hurt themselves with penalties. And look at that last penalty, giving the Raiders a first down when you haven't backed up, you haven't just where you want a chance to really put your offense in a good situation, and you blow it.
3 tight ends all atop your screen. Randall Williams, Courtney Anderson, John Madsen. 2nd and long 9. Brooks hit by Kieran Fox and throws it away in the grasp of Ron Edwards. There are 2 linemen down for the Raiders, and they are hurt inside the 5. It is ruled an incomplete pass. There is no grounding on the part of the pressured Aaron Brooks.
And we talked at halftime about the adjustments the Chiefs would make. They had some opportunities in the first half to get their hands on Aaron Brooks. They didn't do it. I'm sure they talked at halftime. We need to do a better job wrapping up.
8:32 in the 3rd. Gallery is down.
I gotta tell you, business is booming.
Moments ago, 2 Raider offensive linemen injured.
Well, you just watched the bull rush by Jared Allen, and then Robert Gallery, you watch his left elbow, and he goes right into the back of Langston Walker, and he gets a knee. You lose both tackles on one play.
Chad Slaughter is the new left tackle. Brad Badger is the new right tackle. 3rd and a long 9. Brooks, and a great catch made. 31-yard line. Ronald Curry drilled by Page. Gain of 18 on 3rd and 9. The Raiders get a first down.
Well, you got 2 guys playing out of position. Good job by Aaron Brooks stepping up and finding Ronald Curry. But, you know, I know for a fact that Brad Badger is a guard. And I don't know that he's ever played tackle in a game. He's going to be at right tackle now for the balance. And, of course, Chad Slaughter, he's played both sides. But
Curry makes his 2nd 3rd down reception. 1st and 10, Justin Fargas. Right into the grasp of Kavika Mitchell, among others, goes to the 35 and picks up 4. How about the Raiders, who began at the 2 on a well-placed Dustin Colquitt punt, have worked their way bit by bit to the 35 and getting some breathing space.
Well, you know what? They're playing with a lot of emotion right now, and I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that Aaron Brooks is back in the lineup. I think he's brought not only some confidence, he put some confidence to that whole group. They really feel like with Aaron Brooks back under center, they have a chance.
2nd down and 6 from the 35. Fargas, chased by Ali, tripped up by Law, down to use by Bell, loss of 4. No place to run, no place to hide, back to the 31.
And, you know, you talk about injuries and how they impact a football team and an offense. And if you're a backup guard, you probably haven't gotten a lot of reps at that guard position during the week. And now all of a sudden, your tackle goes out, both tackles go out, you're forced to play tackle. You haven't gotten any reps there. Maybe maybe not even going back to training camp. And so now you're walking the line of scrimmage, and each time you walk the line of scrimmage, you're discussing with the guy next to you, hey, what do I have on this one? I mean, it's a lot going on right now in Brad Badger's mind.
Jimmy Wilkerson taking the place of Edwards. Curry is the third receiver. And here they go with Brooks on 3rd and 9, incomplete, looking for Randall Williams. Brooks was belted. The coverage was by Surtain. And the quarterback for the Raiders, Aaron Brooks, is shaken up at the 9.
And the end result is the compromise in the protection. You see Aaron, he's just running around fighting for his life, and you just see the hit at the end there. But this is a team that has struggled with protections all season to begin with. And now you have all these changes up front. They're going to have to be real smart as they head into the second half here now about what they call and what kind of situations they put their quarterback in with all these changes along this offensive line.
There's a crosswind with which Shane Leckler must deal. And deep back is Hall, landing at the 30 and caught by Lenny Walls on a bounce, and then here come the avalanche of Raiders special teams defenders on a 33-yard punt with a 3.5 hang time. The Chiefs get it back. 13-7 Raiders. Zone power. Raiders just punted. Sapp is out. Turdell Sands is in at one of the tackle positions. On the 35, Trent Green, 1st and 10. Hall is on the move. Larry Johnson gets the call. Busting free. There goes Larry Johnson. Tackled by Schweigert. He crosses into Raider territory at the 48. And a gallop of 17 yards for Larry Johnson.
And the thing that surprises you sometimes about Larry Johnson, for a big back, he possesses a lot of speed and quickness in the open field. You just watch him kick it out into a second gear. And it's a good open field tackle by Schweigert. If not, Larry Johnson probably goes the distance here.
Larry Johnson's got 91 yards on the ground. 1st and 10, 48. Green looking for Kennison, covered by Asamoah. The catch is made. 1st down grab, 34-yard line. It's a pickup of 14, his first catch today. Tuesday, see why the New York Daily News says 3 pounds is a show with brains and heart. It's on CBS. 1st and 10, 34. No huddle, Larry Johnson. Grab by Tyler Brayton. Snaking, and a flag is a lot of flags, in fact, on the field. The gain was to the 31.
Interesting to see whether they stay in this no-huddle mode. And sometimes when an offense is struggling a little bit, that up-tempo, that no-huddle can really help a quarterback get on track.
Kansas City substituted on the last play. Oakland will have 12 players on the field. Because of the substitution, there is no foul. We will replay 1st down.
Offense looks like it has a little bit of rhythm right now for the Chiefs.
And it all comes off of the successful run game, and then off of that, the play action. And that's really where Trent Green is most comfortable. It's really when he's at his best. And the other thing is the protection. They're so protection conscious today because of Trent's situation. Not only that, but because of this front four of the Raiders. They're very good at rushing the pass.
Lance Johnstone has come in. Sapp is back in. 1st and 10. Larry Johnson, huge hole. Great block by Wigman. Schweigert makes the grab. 17-yard line. 17-yard run by Larry Johnson. He had a 17-yard run earlier in this series, and the Chiefs are on a roll down to the 17.
You see him offset Larry Johnson, and then, I mean, these are some gaping holes. I mean, I don't know where the linebackers are for the Raiders. They're just getting lost or getting caught up inside. And the other thing that's happening is the offensive line and the Chiefs are doing a good job getting up on the second level, getting some hats on those backers.
1st and 10. Larry Johnson over 100 yards today and upended by the rookie Michael Huff. He's down to the 19. He loses a yard. This is the 6th 100-yard rushing game this year for Larry Johnson.
And you know the Raiders are only going to take so much of that, and then they're going to start bringing 8 and 9 men up to the line of scrimmage. And you saw in that last one, Michael Huff, the strong safety, the Raiders creeping up the line of scrimmage before the snap, trying to get an extra guy down there. And then, of course, you see Rob Ryan. The defense, the job he's done with his defense. This is a young group, and they have played well all year, keeping them in football games. They really have no chance of winning.
Bennett in the backfield, 2nd down, 12, no pass, uncatchable. Kennison incomplete, wiping it dead at the 14-yard line. 3rd and 12.
You just watch Trent Green there, and I think that has to do with his footwork. You know, and you talk about him being a little bit rusty, and you know, they threw a quick slant route, and you just watch Trent. It's a little quick here, a little quick. The ball comes out, and again, it's just timing and rhythm in the passing game. It's something he's done over and over the years. But when you have people around you and moving around, you got defenders and everything, it looks a little bit different to you. And so you see where he's been on third down, not very consistent or very accurate.
5 in the secondary, 3 wide receivers for the Chiefs. 3rd and 12. Green is hit on the run, hit the deck, and he does. They plow him again at the 15, make it the 14-yard line. He was hit by Morrison and Howard. It's a scramble of 5 yards, and he's down to the 14.
And this is when the competitiveness takes over. You just see, it's just a reaction from him. And you know, he told us the other day he took off in practice, and his teammates were kidding him and saying, "Hey, you're not allowed to run anymore." And his comment was, "Hey, it never really entered my mind. It's just instinctive." And I think that's a good sign for the Chiefs.
This will be a 32-yard field goal try by Lawrence Tynes, who's had great success inside 40. And
they're short.
They are short of some players. And the clock continues to roll.
And delay a game here probably won't hurt you.
No, they're going to move him back 5 yards. It's a delay a game on the Chiefs, who appear very confused.
It's still 4th down.
And this will drive a head coach crazy. And, you know, not having enough guys on the field for a field goal, these substitutions. This is something they work on all week. They have walkthroughs. They talk about it on Saturday morning. They go through different substitution issues in terms of injuries, and this should never happen in an NFL game.
Now it's a 37-yard try. The wind is a crosswind. Holding will be Colquitt. The snapper is Kendall Gammon. And he will sneak it in on the right upright. And the Chiefs to within 3. Clock at 2:43. We are in the 3rd at Rocket Arrowhead in Kansas City. Kansas City Chiefs just came off a 7-play, 46-yard drive with runs of 17 yards and 17 yards by Larry Johnson. 14-yard pass to Kennison. They got a 37-yard field goal. They're within 3 of the Raiders and 2:43 to play in the 3rd.
Well, we got ourselves a ball game. I think when these two teams get together, you can throw the records out the window.
Tynes trying to keep it away from Carr. Sends it to the 16 for Rashard Lee. Backup running back, a specialty back, and he's brought down by Scanlon and by D. Brown. 14-yard return. That's a good sign if you're a Raider fan. Brooks back out, 2:38 in the 3rd. Chiefs just got a field goal. Upcoming is the second Raider second-half possession. Langston Walker is back in at the right tackle. Slaughter taking the place of the injured Gallery at left tackle. Fargas in the backfield taking the place of the injured Lamont Jordan. Hurt a left knee early in the game. 30-yard line, 1st and 10. Brooks, and he'll run. Chased by Reed. Stiff arms his way almost back to the line of scrimmage. Gain of a yard. They'll mark him out of bounds at the 31-yard line.
We talked about Randy Moss and where he has been, and his lack of involvement in this offense. And you have to go back 7 quarters. He's only had 1 catch for 8 yards. And so, you know, I think part of that, Kevin, when I watch the film, it's about effort, it's about energy. And I don't see it from him. I don't see it in this game. I don't see him coming off the line of scrimmage consistently enough, working, blocking the running game. You need to do all those things to be an effective, productive receiver in this game.
Hicks has taken the place of Hawley on this defensive series for the Chiefs. The top of your screen, 2nd and 9. And Justin Fargas slithers his way to the 36. He was hit by a host of Chiefs players, and eventually at the bottom of the pile was Reed, a gain of 5. Again, the 36. It has been a very volatile week for the Raiders off the field, too, and Moss has kind of lit the fuse.
Yeah, you read this quote from Randy Moss. I think it's destructive. And I think when you put your own desires and goals in front of those of the team, I really believe you put your team and your organization in harm's way, and I think you compromise the values of the football team. And I just hate to see those type of comments from a player who's supposedly the captain of your football team.
Ronald Curry is the 3rd receiver. Walls is the 5th defensive back. And on 3rd and 4, Brooks, who is facing incredible heat from Sammy Knight, throws it away. Incomplete, 3 and out for the Raiders.
And one of the things you're seeing the Chiefs do a better job here in the second half, they're containing Aaron Brooks. He got away from him a little bit. They just don't have anywhere to go with the ball down the field.
3-time All-Pro punter Shane Leckler will no hang time. And Hall lets it creep its way to the 18-yard line. Stanford Rout is the one who got it. 46-yard punt. Well, don't miss a play, stat, or story with CBS Sports Line's Sunday Game Center. Follow every game with lightning pass by Aaron Brooks and field goals of 41 and 36 yards by Sebastian Janikowski.
Yeah, I think the frustrating thing for Trent Green is you want things to go well early. And you want to come out, you want to throw for some touchdowns and things like that. He's just settle in, just make some plays.
1st and 10. Larry Johnson over 100 yards. Grabbed by Sam Williams and drags him and the ball out near the 30-yard line, and a 11-yard jaunt. First down for Kansas City. Up slow is Jason Dunn, the tight end, taking the place of the injured Tony Gonzalez on the Chiefs side.
The ironic thing for Trent Green and the Chiefs is it's hard to get comfort in the passing game when the guy behind you, Larry Johnson, is tearing things up. I mean, he's your best chance right now. He's running the ball so effectively. It seems like every time he touches it, he's getting 7-8 yards a clip.
Sands taking the place of Tommy Kelly on the defensive line. 1st and 10, 30-yard line. Johnson again goes by Sapp, goes by Williams, maneuvers his way to the 35, where he is brought down by middle linebacker Kirk Morrison on a gain of 5.
Well, Art Shell, when we talked to him last night, he knew the secret to stopping the Chiefs was to try and contain Larry Johnson. He said he's the catalyst for this football team, and our focus is going to be on trying to stop him and forcing Trent Green to have to beat you with his arm.
This is the 12th start in Arrowhead Stadium for Larry Johnson. He's averaging 126 in those starts. Today he's got 122. And that takes us to the conclusion of the 3rd quarter. 4th quarter, it's sold out Arrowhead in Kansas City. A 5th defensive back has been added for the Oakland Raiders. 2nd down and 5 to begin the 4th. Larry Johnson. Not a lot of room on the side. He's brought down. Loss on the play after tackle of Kurt Morrison, the middle linebacker, of a yard. Back to the 33. Make it the 34.
Well, when you tackle Larry Johnson, you have to figure out pretty early on, you have to hit him down low. If you try to hit him up high, as Derek Burgess told us, he said he'll embarrass you. He's so patient. He knows when to pick his spots, cut it downfield, and when he does, there's a lot of steam underneath those pads.
Johnstone on the defensive line. 3rd down and 6. Hall was the extra receiver. There's a pass to Dante Hall. With the catch at the 40, grabbed by Huff. He goes to the 41, picks up 7 on 3rd and 6, and that's a Kansas City first down. And this perhaps best division in the NFL, the AFC West. Denver and the Chargers play tonight.
That's a critical game for the Chiefs today. Obviously, Oakland today, they need to win. And then, of course, on Thursday, they have Denver coming in. So, in a period of 5 days, their season, their playoff hopes could really be decided.
Wes Terry is the new right tackle. Turley is a tackle eligible. There's a block by John Welburn, who's in the backfield. And there is a run by Larry Johnson as he works his way out of bounds. Really ran out of real estate. Fabian Washington ushers him out of bounds near the 50 on a gain of 9.
You know, as a quarterback, and you see a running game that's this efficient right now, you always thank the guys up front. You're always complimenting those guys. When you think about the Chiefs, they've started 5 different offensive line combinations this season. Yet, entering Week 10, Damon Ewert was the NFL second-rated passer. Larry Johnson was the 3rd leading rusher. They only get up 17 sacks. So it's a big compliment to John Matsko, their offensive line coach, Mike Solari, the job they've done rotating those guys around up front.
Now on 2nd down and 1, the handoff to Johnson. He plows his way for a first down and a gain of 2 to the 48-yard line. And a first down.
Well, because Larry Johnson, the more carries he gets, I really believe he seems to get stronger, and he begins to wear down a defense. I think it takes its toll on you. You're not able to pin your ears back and tee off rushing the quarterback. You're so concerned about number 27 running downhill at you.
John Welburn now playing left guard. Terry is playing the right tackle. Turley a tackle eligible. 1st and 10. LJ the other way. Back by Brate. I make it. That's Michael Bennett, who is tripped up by Schweigert and brought down at the 35-yard line by Thomas Howard. It's a gain of 12. And Bennett has been very effective today. A couple big runs, including a 20-yarder early in the game.
And this is what he gives you that Larry Johnson doesn't. He's got a little bit more speed and quickness to get out on the edge from that eye spot in the backfield. And again, he's an accomplished runner, too. He rushed for 1,000 yards a couple of years ago with the Vikings.
Bennett remains. 8th play of the drive. 1st and 10 from the Raider 35. Good block by Terry. Green to Bennett. Belted by Howard, still on his feet, bounces off and works his way to about the 34. Tackle made by Sam Williams, gain of 2. Bennett taking some hits on the play.
All that work and he got right back to where the initial contact was, but
now Turley is in at the right tackle. 2nd down and 8. Hall is a receiver at the bottom of his screen. Bennett still in, and he gets the call. Great block on the play by Chris Wilson. Bennett is tackled by Asamoah. It's a gain of 11. He's got a 1st down to the 22, and let's go to New York and JB.
Hey, Kevin and Rich, after a 59-yard punt return by B.J. Sams, Jamal Lewis goes untouched 2 yards to pay dirt. Baltimore on top right now of Atlanta. 10-7, that in the 3rd. Back to Kevin Harlan. Rich Gannon.
Brian Billick calling the plays. Jamal Lewis is kind of like the times his numbers call.
No. I like Brian Billick calling plays.
Get up with the Vikings. 1st down and 10. Larry Johnson is back in. And Larry Johnson just grinding away. Brought down by Brayton. Picks up 5-17. Back to James Brown in New York.
Hey, take a look at this. Travis to Kevin and Rich.
Henry had 107 yards last week in the 1-point loss in Nashville to Baltimore. Thank you, JB. 2nd down and 5 from the 17. Johnson remains. Larry Johnson, Wellborn was pulling over, trying to open up some room. Michael Huff, the rookie in the secondary, makes the stop, a meager gain of a yard to the 16-yard line.
You think about how important Larry Johnson is to this offense. You go back and look at statistics, and I think they tell you a lot in the National Football League. He has the highest percentage of the team's yards from scrimmage. 41% of the yards from scrimmage from Kansas City come from Larry Johnson. And so it tells you about his value to this offensive football team.
3rd down and 4 with the 12th play of the game coming up on this drive. For Green, tipped, incomplete. They got in his grill and they came up the middle. Robert Thomas was put in as a linebacker. And the Raiders hold the Chiefs out. Now Kansas City will try to tie with the field goal.
As a receiver, you know that the umpire in the middle of your screen forward, he's always going to step up and pass plays. And as a receiver, you know that. And you have to anticipate that. And you can't be surprised by the umpire stepping into your path. And that's just what happened on that route by the Chiefs.
6'7", Terdell Sands got a hand on that Green pass. This is a 35-yard field goal try by Thomas. Missed to tie the game. They come up empty. He's wide left. That's his first miss inside 40 yards since opening day last season. Raiders holding on, 9:46 in the 4th. Just fanned on a 35-yard field goal. Raiders take over at their 25. Sims is on the defensive line, taking the place of Reed for the Chiefs. Aside from that, the starters out there. Brooks under center, 1st and 10. Blocked by Randall Williams. And Brooks looking for Whitted, covered by Page. 45-yard line, incomplete. Let's go back to your game points.
We talked about some keys of the game and for the Chiefs to get Larry Johnson going. He's not disappointed. 25 carries, 139 yards. But on the flip side, the Raiders getting Randy Moss involved in the offense. He's been non-existent. He just hasn't shown up. And you'd think with Aaron Brooks back in there, they'd find a way to get him involved and get that combination hooked up. They haven't done it today.
Curry has taken the place of Moss as a wide receiver. 2nd down and 10. Justin Fargas brought down by Edwards near the 27. Gain of 2.
You know, they're in the regular personnel right now. The Raiders are, and they have Ronald Curry in the game and Alvis Whitted. And Randy Moss on the sideline, a little more than you normally would expect to see him. I don't know if it's just Art Shell sending a message to the receiver about needing and expecting more out of their captain, or just the fact that they're disappointed that he's not made more plays in this offense.
Moss has come back out. They've got 3 receivers, including Curry, including Whitted. It's 3rd and 8. Walls is the 5th defensive back for the Chiefs. Lee is in the backfield with Brooks. through the hands of Moss. Would have been a difficult catch. It's incomplete. A flag is down. He was covered on the play by Law, and they had Page there and Surtain. They had a lot of people right in the vicinity. They hadn't thrown to Moss since the second series of the game.
Illegal contact, number 23, defense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
That is Pat Surtain.
One of the problems with this from Aaron Brooks' perspective is they have two receivers in the exact same location. You watch Randy Moss, he's right underneath Alvis Whitted. And you want spacing from your receivers. And when you have two receivers on top of each other, there's a structural flaw in the system. Either that or one of those receivers ran that route at the wrong depth. That's very hard for a quarterback to be able to sort through that. You want some separation to make your reads easier and cleaner.
Wilkerson has taken the place of Edwards on the Chiefs defensive line. That penalty came on 3rd and 8. New life for the Raiders at the 32. 1st and 10. Randall Williams a tight end. Madsen is out there as a tight end as well. Brooks short for Fargas. Incomplete. They got Chad Slaughter playing the left tackle for the injured Robert Gallery.
And one of the things, we talked about Aaron Brooks. He has not played a lot either. And one of the things that concerns me a little bit about him right now is his footwork. I see him hopping around a lot. He's bouncing around a lot in the pocket, and that tells me he's not completely comfortable, and he's not really trusting that protection up front. And you can't hardly blame him when you consider the fact that Oakland Raider quarterbacks coming into today's game and knocked down 60 times, which leads the league, and have been sacked 47 times as well.
Raiders who only have one second-half touchdown this entire season have it 2nd and 10. Fargas outside. And he was hit by a host of Chiefs, but they had Kendrell Bell mainly out there stopping him for no gain. In fact, they're going to mark him for a loss on the play to the 31.
You know, Sammy Knight is a player that always seems to be around the action. And he's one of those safeties when you watch a lot of film, you start charting his movement, his activity. We would refer to him as a nosy safety. He wants to get around the line of scrimmage. He wants to get in there involved in some of the tackles, and that's what he does. He's a very physical player. He's great in run support.
5 defensive backs. Curry, the 3rd receiver. 3rd down and 10 from the 32 for Brooks. Has to get to the 42. He's got the first down, and there he goes. Aaron Brooks forced out of bounds by Page. Running his way to the 45, picking up 23 yards on 3rd and 10. There maybe has not been a bigger play by the Raiders today.
Well, he's making a lot of plays, and he's making them with his legs. You watch the pressure come. He's forced to step up, and now this is just a great play. A little pump fake fools Jared Allen. He just does it all with his legs. But what happens is they have a little zone pressure there. Jared Allen, one of their best pass rushers, is actually dropping in coverage, and now he's out of position.
Roland Williams is the slot receiver. 1st down and 10. 45-yard line. Justin Fargas. There's a block by Roland Williams, and in the secondary, a tackle made by Page. He gets a gain to the 37. There's a flag on the play at the 44.
Holding, number 86, offense. 10-yard penalty. It's still first down.
It's on Randall Williams, the tight end.
You know, it's amazing. You look at watch Justin Fargas into this run, and he's run the ball particularly well too. And you know, Randall Williams is a guy that really was a receiver, and he's bulked up a little bit, and that's not really his strength. He's better at running routes. He's not as good or not as solid in terms of the run game and in terms of the pass protection. He's better off split out a little bit running routes down the field.
46-yard line, 1st down and 20. Screen pass, Justin Fargas by Fox, hit by Kavika Mitchell. 42-yard line, a catch and run of 12 yards on the play as we take you to JB in New York. The Jets are coming off a win up in Foxborough against the New England Patriots. Interesting matchup there. JB, thank you. Here, an upset in the making. 6:24, clock ticking. 2nd down 8. We're in the 4th. Raiders on top. And Justin Fargas runs into Randall Williams, who was trying to block, and that just stopped the play. And Jared Allen was there, along with Ryan Sims, a loss of a yard back to the 44.
Well, you just watch at the point of attack, the bottom of your screen. Watch Randall Williams, he comes off, and he just gets pushed back. I mean, that's not something you want to put on film. You see Ke'Aaron Fox, he comes downhill and really gets the best of Randall Williams in that situation. You got to do a better job if you're Randall Williams, not only catching balls, but helping out your backs and blocking in the run game.
Wilkerson has now come in as a defensive tackle, 3rd down and 9. Walls is the 5th Kansas City defensive back. Curry, there's a bad snap from Jake Grove. It's low and covered up by the quarterback, Aaron Brooks, back at the 48-yard line. A loss of 7, and the Raiders have got a punt with 5.5 to play in regulation.
You know, every once in a while, if you're a quarterback, you take a peek, and this is not a good snap, but sometimes you see the pressure coming and your focus is on those perimeter players, and you take your eyes off the ball just a little bit. I'm not saying that's exactly what happened in this situation. It was a low snap, but your first job as a quarterback is to handle the snap regardless of whether it's high or low.
Leckler is out there to punt. 3 second half Raider possessions, 3 second half Oakland Raider punts. They're going to let the clock tick down just a bit. The play clock is at 12, big clock at 5:10 and ticking. Leckler gets it away. Terrific hang time. Hall will let it bounce. And Jared Cooper out of Kansas State trying to save it, could not. In the end zone it goes. That's the 13th touchback for Leckler this year, an NFL high. 4:53. Well, the Raiders didn't score, but they ran almost 5 minutes off the clock. So Trent Green with 4:53 to play in regulation, down by 3, 3 timeouts, 20, 1st and 10. Hall is the 3rd receiver. Larry Johnson grabbed by Sam Williams and torn down after a gain of 4 to the 24-yard line. Coming next, Peyton Manning and the unbeaten Colts travel to Dallas to take on the Cowboys. That's next on CBS. Larry Johnson has had a touchdown run, a field goal of 37 yards earlier in this half. But the Chiefs have also missed a field goal in this half from 35 yards away. 2nd down and 6. There goes Tommy Kelly jumping, but was he induced? They got Welborn now playing the left guard over Bober.
Encroachment, number 93, defense. 5-yard penalty. It's still 2nd down.
2nd down and 1.
This is a unique situation for the Raiders defense to be in. They've had to really go out and try and win games defensively the last 6 or 7 weeks, and today their offense has actually shown up and made some contributions and made some big plays and really helped keep them in this game. Now it's a question for their defense to be able to close it out.
Brayton is out. Kelly now playing the defensive end. 2nd down and 1. Green winding up, looking, he's got Kennison, Asamoah defending. What a breakup, incomplete at the 27-yard line. He is one of the most improved defensive backs, one of the best corners now in the NFL. Asamoah, incomplete, no flags on the play.
Kevin, you hit the nail right on the head. I think he's probably the most improved player in their football team. He actually gets beat in a little double move by Eddie Kennison, and he does such a great job. He's got great recovery speed, and that's what you look for in a corner. A guy that can get beat and can catch up and close the gap, and that's just what Nnamdi Asomugha did in that play.
Extra defensive back is Carr, 3rd down and 1. Extra receiver is Hall. Larry Johnson grabbed by Tommy Kelly. No gain on the play. He's going to be short indeed at the 29-yard line.
What they had there, they had a 2nd and 1. They took the shot down the field, figured they could get it on 3rd down, and they came up short there.
Now it is 4th down and about a yard, and the Chiefs are keeping their offense on the field. The clock at 3:50. Both teams with 3 timeouts.
And they get some push up front. You see Warren Sapp. Warren Sapp gets in the backfield, and any penetration in a short yardage play, that's what usually kills you, and that's just what happened there.
Play clock is down to 9. Terry has been brought in as the right tackle. They've also got.
They got to hurry up. Trent's not
Turley. Turley is in there. 4th down and 1. Larry Johnson hit. Gets up. Grab by Huff. Flag is down. It's a face mask. It will be on the Raiders, which will mean the Chiefs have life.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's all 2nd effort there from Larry Johnson. He gets hit in the backfield and still finds a way to spin out of that.
Personal foul. grabbing the face mask, number 90, defense. 15-yard penalty, first down.
You just watch Turdell Sands right in the middle of your screen here. And he gets upfield. He's just trying to grab Jersey and winds up grabbing part of Larry Johnson's face mask. And the officials are right there to make that call.
The Chiefs have had 2 come-from-behind wins in the fourth quarter. The Raiders have lost 2 fourth-quarter leads and subsequently lost the game. What will happen here? 3:22 in regulation. First down and 10 at the 46.
Oh,
Green, they've got Sammy Parker, who's grabbed by Schweigert, close to a first down, but gain to the 44-yard line.
What?
Well, this is eerily familiar to last year when the Chiefs were taking on the Raiders here at Arrowhead Stadium. Week 9, Johnson had the 15-yard run. Chiefs had a 20-9 early lead. Raiders came back. Just under 2 minutes, Collins found Randy Moss. Then the final play of the game, Larry Johnson left in from the 1. No time left. The Chiefs won it 27-23. They're going to measure, and he got the first down. So catch and run of Parker down to the 44.
I'll tell you what, that last play there, Kevin, Nnamdi Asomugha, the corner for the Raiders, they brought him on a corner blitz. The same one that got home earlier in the game where Trent didn't see him, took the sack. On that play, Trent sees him, gets the ball out of his hands, and makes a great play. Good alert play by Trent Green.
Welburn continues to play the left guard. Turley, of course, over at the right tackle, 1st and 10.
Gets him down the hard count.
Stop it. Self-inflicted Raider wounds.
And not at this point in the game. Just can't have it.
False start, number 89.
Oh, this went on the Chiefs.
5-yard penalty, still first down.
And every once in a while it backfires. You see him with the hard count. He just flinches a little bit. As a quarterback, I'd always remind my guys in the huddle. I always say, hey, listen, I'm going to try and hasten the processing information. The last thing out of your mouth is usually the snap count. And a lot of times they don't hear it.
Now, 1st and 15, they need the 34. Good block by Turley. Green winding up and looking for Kennison. What a catch. Right in front of Asomugha. He's down to the Raider 25-yard line. A 24-yard grab and a first down for Kansas City.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you had any doubts about Trent Green, just watch this throw. He steps up in the pocket, and he just drops this one right off the top shelf. I mean, that's a great throw. It's great coverage by Nnamdi Asomugha. I mean, he puts it in the only place he could possibly put it. Now they have some breathing room.
Hall is atop your screen. Parker to the bottom. 1st and 10. Larry Johnson. And there they grab him with Tommy Kelly along with Thomas Howard. No gain on the play. 25-yard line.
Now Trent's a smart guy. He's going to tell his guys in the huddle, hey, guys, there's 2 ways for us to finish this game. We're already in field goal range. Or we can rely on our kicker and maybe get ourselves in overtime, or we can finish it ourselves. And that's what you want to do.
Sainz has already missed a kick today from 35. 2nd down and 10. And Green looking for Kennison. Incomplete. The coverage by Fabian Washington down the sideline. 3rd and 10.
They tried to get him with a double move, and Fabian Washington didn't bite. And that was almost a force. You see the double move, the tail end of it, and Fabian Washington's right in position, and he also has some help from Michael Huff. And Trent Green, it's kind of it's a shot play. It's either there, it's not. It's the next best thing. He throws it away.
3rd and 10. Hawthorne has come in on the defensive line, as has Lance Johnstone. 5th defensive back is Carr. 3rd wide receiver is Rod Gardner for the Chiefs. 3rd and 10. And Green throws, and it's caught at the 10-yard line. That's by Sammy Parker, who is hit on the play by Huff. It's a 16-yard gain on 3rd and 10. We're at the 2-minute warning, and the Chiefs are on the move. Chiefs on the move at the 9. 1st and goal. 2-minute warning.
You got them where they want them now. Just got to be smart in this part of the field.
1st and goal. Larry Johnson Big block by Chris Wilson. Touchdown.
Tell you what, Kevin, Larry Johnson has had an unbelievable day for the Chiefs. I mean, he is a beast. Watch him finish this run. He lowers the boom on Stuart Schweigert.
There was a delayed call, Rich, on the touchdown. My guess is upstairs, because we're under 2 minutes, we'll review the play. He has 154 yards right now. That would have been his second rushing touchdown. But because we're under 2 minutes, the officials upstairs will take a look at it. Watch his knee. Was it down before the ball crossed the plane?
Probably
he
was.
Is down. It was. He's gonna be at the 1 in all likelihood. They look at it again. This story is not finished yet with 1:54 to play. Larry Johnson, the ruling on the field is he scored a touchdown. It's being reviewed upstairs. Under 2 minutes remaining. It was not challenged by either coach because they can't. We're at this stage of the game.
Like crash dummies hitting each other there, but you know, it's pretty clear there that his right knee is down. That ball should probably come down about the 1.
At the 1, it will be second and goal at the 1. The clock will start on my signal.
It was a right call at the 1-yard line, so the personnel back out there for Herm Edwards and his Chiefs offense. The Chiefs took over at their own 20 with 4:53 left, 11 plays, and here they are.
And they have their heavy personnel group back on the field. Kyle Turley has checked himself in as an eligible receiver. Number 74, the tight end spot. And, of course, you have Jason Dunn. They'll probably both line up on the right side, and that's probably where they'll run the football.
Welburn will remain the left guard. And as Rich said, Terry will be the right tackle. Bober is in now as well. Let's see where he lines up. Bober will be the tackle eligible on one side, Turley on the other. Second and goal at the 1. Larry Johnson backs his way in. That is a touchdown. And that gives the Chiefs their lead. Larry Johnson has scored the Kansas City Chiefs, and this is amazing, the last 28 rushing touchdowns. Chiefs led early. Raiders took the lead. Kansas City's got it back. Tynes the extra point, making it 17-13. With 1:32 to play in regulation, the Raiders have all 3 timeouts. Larry Johnson, his second rushing touchdown today.
Here's how it.
On his 27th birthday, number 27 has scored 2 rushing touchdowns, that capping an 11-play, 80-yard drive, and giving the Chiefs a lead with 1:32 to play in regulation. And now in the game, it's a 4-point Kansas City advantage. The kickoff by Tynes. From the 8-yard line, Chris Carr. And he's hit on the play by Benny Sapp. 25-yard line, 19-yard return. Tonight on 60 Minutes, Broadway, Joe Namath tells the story of his life in football and the embarrassing moment on national TV that changed his life forever. Followed by the new episodes of The Amazing Race, Cold Case, and Without a Trace. That's tonight on CBS, America's #1 network. And a new quarterback is coming out. This is Andrew Walter, because there is an injury to Brooks, and we think it's to his hand on the sideline.
Well, this is not what you want to see if you're the Raiders. The guy is not taking a snap all day, and this is not an easy situation to come into. On the road, in Arrowhead, inside 2 minutes, behind in the game. And you see the Chiefs, they're going to get the line of scrimmage and try and confuse him.
1st and 10. And Walter down the side, incomplete, looking for Whitted. The coverage was by Lenny Walls at about the 43.
Well, if I'm a coach for the Raiders, the thing I tell Andrew Walter is this. You have plenty of timeouts. Incompletions here will not kill you, but a sack will. Just be smart with the football. Take what they give you.
See Aaron Brooks getting worked over on the sidelines. Looks like it's his right hand. And
right thumb, it looks like, Rich, maybe even dislocated. 2nd down and 10. I say that because they were using the same maneuvers to pop it back in. Here comes Allen. On the money it goes to Curry. Stopped by Law. Close to a 1st down near the 36.
Now, I think you use a timeout there. You have 3 of them. It takes too long after completion like that downfield to get organized, get back to the line of scrimmage. You burn valuable time. There's other ways of stopping the clock.
It's a gain of 10. It is a 1st down. 36-yard line. He's being chased by Ron Edwards. It finds the secure area of the sideline. He's out of bounds at the 35. And it will be listed as a sack. He lost on the play about a yard. Yep, that was it, where they spot the ball. I had to wait for the spot. Goes down at the 35.
And that's why I said sometimes throwing it away is the best thing. You know, you're scrambling around, you're buying it, you're using up time, and you wind up taking a loss of a yard.
Chiefs are playing with the nickel secondary, and there are 3 receivers for the Raiders, including Curry. 2nd down and 11. Walter, Ronald Curry, Ke'Aaron Fox with the stop. 40-yard line.
These little shallow cross routes aren't going to get it done for the Raiders. They need to throw the ball down the field. They need some bigger chunks in a hurry.
47 seconds to play in the 4th quarter. Well, here is our start today with Larry Johnson pounding it in from 5 yards away, and then Brooks to tight end Courtney Anderson. And then this was moments ago with Larry Johnson going in for a 2nd time.
You talk about the Raiders and kind of the struggles they've had this season, and you know there's been a lot of turnover and change in this organization over the last 3 or 4 years. They've had 3 head coaching changes and new general manager. It's hard to win with that much turnover and lack of continuity, but Art Shell's doing a good job. Now you see Aaron Brooks back in there. They put a Band-Aid on him and get him back in there, but here's a guy who's moved around a lot, made a lot of plays, and keep an eye on Randy Moss down here at the bottom of your screen.
Jerry Porter is in. 3rd down and 6. Aaron Brooks. And that is caught by Randall Williams, the tight end. He works in front of Ty Law. He's down to the 47. He picks up a 1st down, a gain of 13 yards.
And they just wasted about 5 seconds there with some indecision in that timeout.
And now the Raiders have 1 remaining.
And after that completion, Aaron Brooks did the right thing. He was looking right over to the sidelines for some direction on whether or not to burn a timeout. And it took them a while to kind of get that information relayed back to him. It took too long. And actually wound up wasting about another 5 seconds off the clock.
Well, we told you before, the Raiders have lost 2 4th-quarter leads this season. The Chiefs have come from behind in the 4th quarter to win 2 games. Will this be number 3? And a big day for Larry Johnson, who has run it for 154 yards on 31 carries. And here are the blown 4th quarter Raider leads this season.
And Kevin, in this situation with the 37 seconds left, the Chiefs are going to play 2 deep coverage. So it really takes away a lot of the receivers in the outside lane. And really where you want to work in this situation is the middle of the field. The Chiefs don't want to give you any routes down the sidelines and let you get out of bounds. They want to make you force you to complete balls in the middle of the field and either use your timeouts or time off the clock. But that's where Aaron Brooks really has to strike, in my opinion. A deep 18 to 20-yard in route across the middle of the field.
Moss has not caught a pass all day. They've thrown to him twice. The ball is at the 48. And our referee, Walt Anderson, is on the phone on the Chiefs sideline, I think, trying to figure out the clock, and they've added 5 seconds on from 37 up to 42 seconds.
You know, talk about Randy Moss and him not having any catches. The guy across from him has had a lot to do with it. Ty Law, he's had a great game today shutting him out.
1st and 10, 47. Great time for Brooks. He's looking deep, and what a catch made by Curry. He's down to the 7-yard line, and he beat the tight end, Kavika Mitchell. It is a season-high 40-yard reception, and the Raiders at the 8, and a timeout with 32 seconds to play. What a catch by Curry.
We talked about working down the middle of the field where you're working against linebackers, and you watch Ronald Curry. He's working on Kavika Mitchell, and that's a mismatch. And you watch Kavika Mitchell, he has his head turned. He never sees this throw. He's just watching Ronald Curry work up the field, and he was really out of position. He's expecting some help from them safeties over the top, and there was some miscommunication there between the Chief defenders.
Aaron Brooks in there just gives this offense and just gives this team incredible swagger, something they've been absent with most of the season.
Kevin, you're exactly right, and he's made a difference today. I mean, this team, this offense seems like they're rejuvenated with him back in there. Now you got yourself in a situation where you can take a couple shots in the end zone, maybe sneak out of Arrowhead with the win.
First and goal at the 8. They took over with 1:32 to play. 7th play of the drive coming up. And Brooks to the end zone. Intercepted. It's caught by the rookie, Page. And that seals a Kansas City win.
He was actually throwing that ball to Randy Moss in the back of the end zone. You have to wonder if that was a force or whether or not Randy Moss just gave up on that route. We'll have to look at it.
It's the Kansas City Chiefs' first red zone takeaway this season.
He comes back to his right. Wow, I just don't like that body language of Randy Moss in the back of the end zone. You got to fight this part of the field. If your quarterback makes a bad decision, you got to save him. You got to somehow become a defender. That's hard to tell. I'll tell you what, you put yourself in that situation, you work hard all day, and I'll tell you what, big play by Jared Page in the back of the end zone.
He had his first NFL start last week in Miami. He just picked off his first interception in his career. A former 7th-round pick out of UCLA. The interception in the end zone of Brooks. And the Chiefs have won the last 7 games in a row over the Oakland Raiders by 7 points or less. For Rich Gannon, Kevin Harlan, what a game. The Chiefs come from behind and beat Oakland 17-13. Let's go to James Brown.
All right, Kevin, 7 consecutive victories by Kansas City over Oakland, 7